You guys said across the area. So this one is in Tampa Bay, and maybe Sunday. I guess Sunday not the day to do it. Courtney.
Yeah, probably not the day. And even early next week, the water's going to be really choppy with the wind picking up. It's probably been a little colder in the water than normal this time of year. Pretty sure the Gulf temp is like 73, so those scuba suits come in handy this time of year. All right, let's talk about some changes. Yes, as Caitlin was saying, Sunday, not the best day. We will have scattered storms. That's the reason for our weather impact alert. So we know you're already thinking about the weekend, trying to make those plans. Want to give you a heads up that your afternoon on Sunday could be interrupted by rain and storms. And then Tuesday, of course, that's when the near record cold moves in. That's our second weather impact alert. So giving you a heads up of some big changes on the way to the forecast. Here at home, some smaller changes to start your Thursday. We have this disturbance that's out in the Gulf, and that's pumping in lots of moisture. You can see that in the form of rain even in South Florida. But for us here at home right now, that's mostly cloudy skies, and that is keeping our morning a little bit warmer than the last couple of mornings. Still kind of chilly along the Nature Coast, where you're in the low 60s, 63 in Brooksville, 60 in Homosassa, 61 in Newport Richey. A little warmer in the Bay Area, 66 in Tampa, 70 in St. Pete, 69 in Sarasota, 64 in Lakeland, 65 in Frostproof. Here's that Gulf temp, 73 degrees. Well, that feels nice to us while we're walking around. That's like room temperature. Go dip your toe in the Gulf and let me know how that feels. Probably pretty cold. 83 degrees for a high temperature today with just a stray sprinkle. That rain coverage at about 20%, and that's mainly going to be south of I-4 today. Again, that low where it's streamlining moisture in right now, it's going to continue to pump in moisture through the day, and some of that could move inland in the form of very light rain. I'm talking light sprinkles. Some of it could even evaporate before it hits the ground, but Bradenton, Sarasota, Southern Hillsborough, Hardee, Polk County, you'll have the chance for a few showers starting around 3 o'clock, and then here's a look at 7 across the Tampa area and along the I-4 corridor. A few light showers will be possible. So yes, that could interrupt the USF game briefly, but we're not expecting thunderstorms. So that won't cause any kind of delay, but a few light sprinkles possible for that USF game tonight. Big game, mostly cloudy skies, temperatures in the low 70s. So overall, not a bad night there. Going into the weekend, mild start to Saturday with temperatures closer to 70, highs in the mid 80s. Get out and enjoy it. And then Sunday, there's that chance for storms. Right now, only a 30% coverage. Now that could go up as we start to get some more high resolution model data in. We definitely have the moisture to work with ahead of this front that you'll feel in the form of humidity. But right now we'll keep a 30% coverage, just the timing that's really inconvenient. Let's take you through Futurecast and time it all out. This very large weather system is going to traverse across the lower 48, bringing heavy rain, really windy conditions, maybe even the first snow of the season to parts of the Great Lakes and the Northeast on Friday. So if you have travel plans this weekend, you're planning on catching a flight, we know unfortunately that the airports across the area, especially here in Tampa, could start to have some big time trouble, and this is not going to help with that. If you're traveling anywhere from the Midwest all the way up the eastern seaboard, including the southeast, this front's going to bring rain and even the potential for severe storms to the southeast on Saturday. So something we'll be watching. Sundays when that front comes here to our area, not going to bring severe weather, thankfully, but it will bring the chance for rain and storms. Here's a look at 1 o'clock. That's, of course, the big Bucs game kickoff at 1 p.m. There could be a brief storm delay for the Buccaneers game. That's why we went ahead and gave you that weather impact alert. We will, thankfully, again, not have the chance for severe weather, but we could pick up some much needed measurable rainfall before the cold air arrives. It's really going to settle in on Tuesday. Look at this, 30s north of town, maybe even some low 30s up in Citrus County. I think north of town, you have the best chance of breaking some records when it comes to the cold temperatures. 40s everywhere else, but with the wind, it's going to feel more like the 30s. So you got to have those coats ready by next Tuesday. You are definitely going to need them. I know it's Veterans Day, so a lot of you have off of work and school, but for any of the activities in the morning, a lot of those parades going on, you're definitely going to need the coats. Marine forecast doesn't look so pretty out there. You're not going to get the best suntan today, but light chop on the bay, seas at about a foot. 7-day forecast will show you warm and mostly dry weather into the start of the weekend ahead of the storm Sunday afternoon. And then we cool off big time next week. Cold start to Tuesday with highs only in the mid 60s. We'll go back into the low 70s by Wednesday. They know exactly what they're doing too, because you walk in there and it's like all the fun new holiday stuff that's like $5 and under, and then directly to the left in like every Target is the women's section, and they're like, we know exactly who we're going after, because how can you walk away? It's like, oh, look at that sweater. Okay. Next thing you know, you're like $200 deep, and you should have only spent $50. Let's talk about what's going on in the forecast, because we did just get brand new information in on our drought, and as expected, it did get worse. We're now in a moderate drought for parts of Hillsborough County, all of Pinellas County, Manatee County, Sarasota County. That does start to extend into parts of Polk and Hardee County as well. Otherwise abnormally dry, and we don't have a lot of rain on the way. We're going into our dry season, so we need all the help we can get. We'll have very low end rain chances the next couple of days. And then Sunday, our front comes in. That's our next weather impact alert because rain and storms could impact your Sunday afternoon plans. We're going to pick up maybe about a 1/10 to a 1/4 of an inch of rain at best. We'll take anything we can get at this point. Some of our rain today coming from this disturbance, this upper level low that's developed in the Gulf here. And you can see very cloudy weather in the central Gulf and some of those showers already streamlining into South Florida. Some of those will knock on our door a little later today. In the meantime, this is what you're going to notice the difference in the forecast is essentially the cloud cover, cloudy skies, overcast conditions at the beach. Not many people on the shoreline today. Not the best beach day if you're trying to get a tan. Probably not going to happen today. 64 degrees. Temperatures area wide generally in the mid 60s, already closer to 70 south of town, 69 in Sarasota, 66 in Wauchula, 66 in Tampa, 63 in Brooksville. So very mild morning out there. We'll have wind coming out of the northeast around this high today. That's going to pull in some warmer air, but then again, that low that's out in the Gulf is going to help streamline in some moisture later today, giving us the chance for maybe a light sprinkle. I'm talking very light rain. Our air is still fairly dry. It's a little more muggy, but still dry enough that some of this might even evaporate before it hits the ground, but still a few light showers possible. And the latest model data, which is just coming in, does show a drier trend for the 7 o'clock hour, which is good news for that USF game tonight. But a few spotty showers possible. And then tomorrow we'll look ahead to, again, mainly along and south of I-4, just a few light showers. Here's a look at that chance for rain. Just a 10% chance Friday and Saturday ahead of that weather impact alert on Sunday. And yes, the rain chance not widespread, 30% coverage as of right now. That could go up as we get some more higher resolution data in, but it's the timing that we want you to know about because we know you're starting to make those weekend plans. Let's talk about it with Futurecast here. Very large weather system is going to move across the lower 48, bringing heavy rain, maybe even the first snow of the season to parts of the Great Lakes region and the Northeast. This front's going to bring the potential for very heavy rain, even severe weather to the southeast, all the way up the eastern seaboard. So really important if you have any travel plans this weekend, if you plan on taking any flights. We've been talking about the airport troubles that we're probably going to have to encounter going into this weekend. This weather system is not going to help. You got to keep an eye on those travel plans this weekend. And then here comes the front knocking on our door, 1 o'clock. That's the Bucs kickoff. So if you had plans to go see the Buccaneers play the Patriots, just know there may be a brief storm delay. And then the cold air ushers in. We're waking up in the 30s along the Nature Coast, more than likely some record-breaking cold along the Nature Coast, 40s everywhere else. Feeling more like the 30s, though. Get the coats ready next Tuesday. Rain forecast, you want to get out on the water today. Light chop on the bay, seas at about a foot. Warm and mostly dry the next couple of days. Sunday afternoon, rain and storms return, and then the cold comes in. 30s and 40s Tuesday morning with highs only in the 60s. We'll bump back into the low 70s by Wednesday.